You know what day it is? It's election day. So hopefully you got out there, you voted.
Yeah.
Well, at least here in the United States, it's election day. So hopefully you got out, you voted. It's all local elections. Your local elections determine your local area. So if you have not gone to the polling center, maybe you should get out there, especially East Coast, because it's 6 o'clock East Coast Standard Time right now. And you want to get out there, get the polls before they close. They start at, I think they start closing at 7 to 9 within that time range, depending on. So definitely get out there, vote. It is election day. Beyond that, it's also Show Me the Money Club, live Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. What's going on, Sergio? How you doing?
Doing great, buddy. Doing great. Had my mug covered the front page of Business Insider on Sunday. I was
I know I
like, wow.
saw that. Well, you
It
sent
was
it to me, and I probably would have seen it. I mean, it was
yeah,
plastered. A
your
few other
feed would
people
have, but
talked
then
about it too.
yeah, it was like trending on Yahoo and whatever not. So I got a lot of texts and emails congratulating me, but it wasn't about me. It was some good pointers about what drivers can do to not get deactivated, actually. So please go check out the article in Business Insider.
Well, speaking of deactivations and protecting yourself, we're going to be talking about what's going on in New York. A lot of crazy stuff. It's my home state where I'm at now. So the other day when I heard this settlement come through, I was kind of surprised because it was kind of catching everybody, I think, off guard. So
Yeah.
when we come down to it, we got quite a bit to talk to you guys today about. We have a guest coming on in just a few minutes. We have Jared Kogan on. He's the founder of Giggle. He'll be on in just a couple of minutes. After that, we're going to be talking about the New York State settlement. It's $328 million coming back to drivers. We're going to tell you how you can claim that funds if you drove in New York between the times of those settlements. We're also going to be talking about the driver protections and minimum wage and all that good stuff that's coming very soon as well. Actually, it's here now, paid time off, all that stuff. So pretty interesting coming out of New York. And then I get to give my review on it after maybe next week or in 2 weeks or so. Once that timing goes through, we'll be able to do like a follow up. So that's pretty good. We're also going to be talking about Uber support going full AI. So is it going to be better or worse than having overseas people talking to you when it comes to support?
I
It could
know.
be either or. So we're going to be talking about that. Also, the Uber earnings report. The call was earlier today. We are going to be talking about the Uber earnings report and a couple of things that may have us drivers a little bit worried. Then we're going to be talking about our markets about to get more oversaturated on top of the oversaturation already. And we're going to be looking at the Seattle Washington State driver earnings. We love our Seattle Washington State model. What's going on there? Beats out California, beats out New York, beats out a lot of places. So it's something that we like quite a bit. And then we're going to end it with some facts, some funnies, and maybe if we have time, we're going to try to bring a few of you on to share your thoughts, your opinions, ask your questions, and what else there may be. So anything else to say there, Serge, before we get on?
No, buddy. Everything is all good. We're ready to
Capital Properties,
go.
thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate that.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All
Much
right.
appreciated. All right.
Well, first off, we'd like to thank today's sponsor, Giggle, and we are going to be interviewing the founder of Giggle in just a few minutes. But are you an independent contractor or gig worker seeking fast and hassle-free financing? Look no further than Giggle. We understand that time is money. That's why we've revolutionized the way you access funds. Picture this, $5,000 in your hands in as quick as 5 minutes. Yes, you heard that right. 5 minutes by simply connecting your bank account. Google is here to make sure you can focus on what you do best while we take care of your financial needs. Giggle, the fastest way to secure your financial future. And for your special offer, visit gigglefinance.com/rideshare guide to apply. With that being said, we have today's special guest on, Jared Kogan, who is the founder of Giggle. So if you have any questions about it or anything like that, please put it in the chat. Let us know. And we'll try to get it answered or have somebody answer it. So, Jared, welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Sergio, Chris, thanks for having me.
Hey, Jared.
Thanks.
How are you, man?
Doing great. How about you both?
We're
Pretty good.
doing our song and dance every Tuesday as usual. So, so pleasure to have you on. Much appreciated. You made some time. I know you're overseas actually, so Thanks for staying up. Our audience is really curious about what Giggle is and what they do. So without further ado, explain to us. Well, first introduce yourself a little bit more than Chris did, who you are and how Giggle came about.
Absolutely. So yeah, my name's Jared Kogan. I'm one of the founders of Giggle Finance. And essentially, we've revolutionized the way that rideshare drivers and independent contractors across the US access financing. We've noticed through our experience that independent contractors, rideshare drivers, food delivery folks, and anyone in the independent workforce has had difficulty accessing finance in the past. Personally, I come from a background of SBA financing and small business lending, and both with the SBA and with all online fintechs, there's been a difficulty for those folks that seek or qualify for amounts below $10,000. So, during COVID really had a point of inflection as to where, we wanted to figure out how we can serve this community better. So we ultimately designed a product better suited towards this community. Rather than focusing on those businesses that generate millions of dollars a year in revenue, or might need hundreds of thousands of dollars, we realized that the independent workforce and gig community ultimately needed access sometimes to small amounts of funds, whether it's for car repair, whether it's for inventory, equipment, what have you, needed access to capital in a quick and efficient manner. So that's what we did with Giggle. Is we built a streamlined and efficient process for a rideshare driver or independent contractor to come online, apply for financing, and have money in their bank account in only a matter of minutes with little to no human involvement.
Yeah, I'm curious about how you guys came up with I know how it is, but explain to our audience how you guys came up with Giggle, actually. I think it's quite fitting. So let's talk a couple of
Yeah,
minutes about that.
absolutely. Happy to discuss. So, lending and banking has always been such a scary process to go with the banker, to apply and sit there and wait for an answer. It's often intimidating for a customer to sit there and be on the sidelines. So for Giggle, we're quite the opposite. We're friendly, we're approachable, we're quick, we're instant. And much like the name Giggle implies, we focus on the gig economy. So rather than just being a bank that focuses on all types of small businesses, we particularly focus on the gig segment of the economy.
Yeah, it comes from the gig economy. That's pretty cool, actually. You touched upon a little bit, but more in detail, if you can give me a little bit of color on what population Giggle serves. I mean, I know you said gig worker, but do you also serve non-traditional gig workers, or is your customer base a little bit more varied than just gig workers?
It is. So initially we focused on the gig economy. So whether it's Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Postmates, Instacart, and I can go down the list there, that's where we started and that's our DNA. However, we since expanded to all elements of the gig economy. So not just necessarily working for one of the app-based platforms. So all the app-based platforms are where we started. It's not the only environment that we serve. So we also work with other types of 1099s and independent contractors. So whether you're a freelancer, a consultant, you run a Shopify store, you run a
Yeah.
bodega, you run a food truck, you're a mobile mechanic, a barber, a hairstylist, et cetera. We serve that entire ecosystem. And then there's the micro side of small businesses as well, who are just too small for traditional SMB financing, but still very much within our wheelhouse. So, like I mentioned, like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Postmates are more in our DNA. We really serve the entire small business community.
Yeah, that's great. Now let's talk a little bit about the range of financing, right? And I mean, Chris read the ad, obviously, up to $5,000 within minutes, but give us a little bit of color about, how the approval process is. Let's say, assume that I just download the app, obviously, first, that everybody knows that. And then how does the process work?
Yeah, so the process is super simple. Rather than relying on credit data, we rely on your banking data. So, you log into our application, you connect your bank account securely. We never see your username or password, and instantaneously within seconds, we provide you with an offer. So rather than looking at tax returns, financials, or documents that may be difficult to produce, you simply use a secure third-party application in Plaid to connect, whether it's your Chase, Bank of America, Citibank account, and we see all of your earnings, we see all of your expenses, and then ultimately we're able to determine what type of financing product you can afford. And we go as small as $400 and we go all the way up to $10,000. So it's really
Okay.
dependent on the applicant. And we tailor our financing solutions to each one of our customers. Now,
Right.
rather than just one trick pony, ultimately someone can come to us once for financing, and if they need auto repair, great, we're happy to provide that financing. And once that contract is complete, we're happy to provide continuous financing so that the business can grow.
Right. I actually wanted to hit up on that. Let's say if obviously there's no prepayment penalties, right? If somebody decides to pay the whole thing after a week of getting the loan out or the cash advance out, then they can prepay without any penalties.
Exactly. That's one of our key features. Ultimately, while we are built for longer term financing than just a couple of days, if someone just needs financing for a couple of days, we're there to suit those needs. And ultimately, if the financing is paid back within the first 30 days, there's substantial discounts to the fees that we charge. So it's low cost financing overall, and all of our financing is risk based. So our lowest risk customers pay very low rates, and customers that are higher risk pay slightly higher rates. And we think that's completely fair relative to the risk that that they present. That being said, anyone that pays back within the first 30 days, the fees are essentially less than half of what they would be over the full term. So we try and give substantial discounts to those who just need very short-term financing to meet a specific need. Now, our number one use case is when a rideshare driver needs some type of financing for auto repair. So if you need $1,000 to put 4 tires on your vehicle, no problem. And if that's what gets you back on the road and earning cash again, great. And then if you want to pay it back within a week or two, that works as well, and we'll reward you accordingly.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit more about the range of financing, because look, a lot of rideshare drivers go out there and rent cars. I mean, they don't have a car, but we always recommend that instead of renting, they should just go buy their car, right? Because it's a lot more cost effective. And to us, like, can they use this financing for a down payment on a car? Can they do other things other than just repair on the car?
Absolutely. Yeah. So from a use of funds perspective, as long as it's designated towards the independent contracting business, we don't really police as to how the funds are used. So as long as it's used for business purposes, absolutely. Rather than renting a car, which we know through Uber and Lyft comes with a pretty substantial premium, if you want to use that on a down payment for a lease or for financing, we very much encourage that, because long term, it's going to make your independent contracting business much healthier, and ultimately you control your destiny from there forward. So we prefer to empower our customers to do the same. But ultimately, as an independent contractor, the beauty is that's your decision to make, and no two people make the same decision. And I think that's the beauty of being in the 1099 industry, is it's your business, run it as you desire.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more on that one. And are there any advantages of being a repeat customer with Giggle? Or, let's say I used the financing once and then I didn't need it for 6 months. I come back in 6 months for some other repair or a set of tires or whatever it is. Are there any advantages of being a repeat customer? Do I get a break the second time around since I'm already in your system and I paid the original financing back?
Absolutely. So we have some customers that just come to us for a one-time need, like, for example, auto repair, for a down payment for a new business vehicle. And we see that quite a bit. However, there's some customers that come to us on a consistent basis to continue to grow their business, and they continue to get rewarded with lower fees, with longer terms, with lower payments, and larger approval amounts. So our repeat customers, because we have history with them, we're willing to extend longer terms, to extend higher financing, and to lower our fees for those customers. So yeah, absolutely, repeat customers do see pretty substantial benefits. And that's not to mention that we do report all payments, positive and negative, to the credit bureaus. So
Okay.
a significant majority of our customers do pay as agreed, and that helps to build their credit as well. So not only are they building credit, but they're enhancing their offer with Giggle going forward as a repeat customer.
So initially, though, is there a soft credit check, a credit check? How does the process work? And give me a little bit more color on the speed of the application process, because I'm
Yeah.
sure the audience would want to know what kind of process it is, more specifically as far as credit checks are not concerned.
Absolutely. So the entire process takes a little under 8 minutes from A to Z. However, that being said, to answer your question more directly with regard to credit checks, we perform a soft credit check in the application phase, and that's more to verify identity and to ensure there's no fraud in the application. Given that we are an online platform, there is quite a bit of online fraud, and that's something we wish to avoid and make sure that information isn't being stolen for the benefit of all of our customers and for us as well. That being said, we only perform a soft credit check upon application, and then once they become a Giggle customer, then we do perform the hard credit check, and we begin reporting to the bureaus for the benefit of our customers.
Let's hit up on the. I mean, it's a hot topic, obviously. Hacking happens, and information is being sold, and all over the internet. I mean, look, this is what it is. It's today's internet, right? And as far as if I do apply as a consumer, right, is my information kept secret or quiet? Is it sold? Does Giggle sell information to other companies?
So first off, let me just reiterate, Giggle does not sell information. Number two, as it relates to banking data, we actually don't have access to the login information of all of our customers. They use a third-party solution called Plaid. Plaid is the same solution that Venmo uses to verify bank accounts. So when a customer applies with Giggle, they enter their banking information into Plaid. Like I mentioned, we do not ever receive those credentials. All we receive is the underlying transaction. So we know the payments coming in from Uber or Lyft or DoorDash or Postmates or Instacart, et cetera. We see the expenses as well, and that's what helps us to underwrite rather than relying on traditional credit data. Just to really be emphatic there, we have no access to to the banking credentials. That's something that's highly secure, and given the nature of online fraud, that's something that frankly we don't want to have in our possession. I think it poses more of a risk than a benefit to us.
Yeah, I'm going to draw a question from the audience. It says, what's the repayment process? How do we pay back? If you can answer that.
Absolutely. So repayments are weekly. So essentially, it's revenue-based financing. So we'll take a look at the revenue that you're earning over the past year or so, and that's how we can forecast as to what your earnings are going forward. We'll provide you an advance based on those future earnings, and you'll pay us back weekly over the course of anywhere from about 2.5 to 4 months with weekly payments. That trail your income to make sure that it's something that's affordable relative to the amount that you're bringing in.
Right. A lot of the audience, I'm sure they're going to ask, but maybe we can preempt it and answer their question. Is a lot of online banks are not allowed to, obviously, through your systems. I don't know if you do allow, like a lot of drivers in our community, they have Uber Pro cards, they have Lyft debit cards, things like that. Are your systems geared to accept those as banks or online banks, or do they have to be the traditional banks that they deal with?
So we accept about 93% of US financial institutions. So while of course there's the top 10, whether it's Chase, whether it's Citibank, whether it's Bank of America, et cetera, those of course we support. There's the long tail of smaller financial institutions, primarily credit unions, that we do support a majority as well. However, there's some smaller ones that we do not. And it really just depends on the institution. With regard to the Uber Pro card, that was not supported by Plaid for quite some time. However, over the last 60 days, that has recently changed. So we now recently can support the Uber Pro card as well. And there are a number of gig platforms that their banking platforms are also supported. One that I will notably say is not is unfortunately the Lyft card.
Okay. We have a couple of minutes left. I'll give you the floor. Summarize everything that we talked about, and if there is something I did not ask you about, please educate our crowd, and the floor is yours.
Absolutely. So yeah, like I mentioned, I come from a background of small business lending and banking, whether it's on the SBA side or on the fintech side. And from my experience, not many companies are able to serve this population well. I think it's inherently risky because as 1099s, we all realize that no one gets paid on the 1st and the 15th. No one gets paid the same amount when they do get paid. And so from a banking perspective, that can be relatively challenging. So that was really our objective out of the gate, is to how can we serve this population, and how can we take what we understand about this population and serve them well. So we built this product to specifically tailor towards the 1099 independent workforce and micro small business community. And our goal is to listen to our customers, to make it a friendly, easy, and smooth transaction process. That's why our application takes under 8 minutes from A to Z. And we're consistently listening to our customers as to how we can serve them better.
Yeah.
So we do serve customers all across the United States in all types of work. So whether it is rideshare, which is our number one, however, there's food delivery, there's someone that runs a Shopify store, there's someone that runs a food truck, a bodega, et cetera, et cetera. So, as our customers, we're constantly there with our ears on the ground to continue to evolve and continue to serve this population better. Frankly, there aren't many providers that are willing to work with this community based on a lot of the risk factors that I just mentioned. And, we're different. We specifically built ourselves to serve this community, and we want to serve them better. So while I think we've done a pretty good job over the last 3 years, we're constantly striving to do better. And that's why it's collaborative feedback. And that's why we work with our customers as to how we can continue to improve. And that's what got us from where we were to where we are, and that's what's going to get us to the future. So that's why we like to work with the community and want to continue to build with the community so that we can build a world-class product to serve everyone better.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And so what I'm going to do, Jared, is I'm going to offer myself, because I see questions flying, but I'm going to offer myself, Sergio at therideshareguy.com. People, you know who I am and where I'm at. If you have any questions, send them to me. I'll forward them to either Jared or support. But the Giggle link is in the show notes, so you guys can go all check that out. I'm sure they have a frequently asked questions area on their website. And, I thank you for showing up. I think you're filling a need that's there for the gig worker, and much appreciated.
That's our goal, and that's why we've been here since day one, and why we'll continue to be here to serve this community into the future. I do see one question that I want to address.
Yeah.
Capital Property Investments asks if it's for business bank accounts only. And while we do serve business bank accounts, we do understand that the independent workforce doesn't necessarily have an LLC and always have a business bank account. So no, we can serve personal bank accounts as well, as long as there is 1099 or business income going into that personal bank account.
Great, thank you. That probably was one of the questions coming to me. You preempted it and answered it. But again, thank you so much for showing up. We'll obviously be in touch. And if there are any questions, I'll forward them either to you or your support team. And thanks again.
Thanks so much for having us, and thanks again.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Bye.
All right, so that is Giggle. If you had any questions or have more questions, hit up Sergio at therideshareguy.com. He can forward that to you or to them.
Uber support, Lyft support, Giggle support. I'm the support. There you go.
Yeah, we should change your name to support. So it's support at Sergio at therideshareguy.com.
There you go. Don't give him any ideas, Chris. Come on now.
Well, who knows? But yeah, so we got quite a big thing. Quite a lot of things to be talking about. First, we're going to be talking about what's going on in New York State. If you are a New York driver, if you've been driving since, hold on, let me tell you, between 2014 and 2017, in New York State, you may be getting some money back because of some of the practices that Uber and Lyft were doing. So it's going to total $328 million, $290 million from Uber, and $38 million from Lyft. So yeah, what did you think about that settlement when you heard about it?
Look, okay, so a lot of weeks, what we do is we find these glitches. And this in New York in 2014, it started as a glitch. And I am pretty sure if I had the emails going back then, and because we weren't around then, literally, Harry was just starting the rideshare guy. I'm sure a lot of people complained to support, saying that, look, this is wrong. I'm not getting paid, or you're taking the money out of my paycheck or account that you shouldn't be taking it. And then I'm sure they came back with, oh, there's a glitch, we'll fix it, right? So this went on for 3 years, 2014 to 2017. And at 2020, the Attorney General started paying attention to it. Look at the timeline, though, Chris. This is 2014 to 2020 when they pick it up. And 3 years after that, in late 2023 now, they ended up settling this case. And look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think Uber was a clear winner in this, okay? And maybe other people may not think so, but I think they were. So they delayed paying something that they should have paid, they shouldn't have done, for 3 years, and then 3 years after that, this gets picked up, it gets investigated, it takes another 3 years for them to come to a settlement. However, I think 300 million is going to be a lot of money going back to the driver pockets. Now, how many are still driving from 2014, and what the breakdown is going to be, we don't know yet, but obviously it's a lot of money. And Lyft, about 30 million on top of that. But I think it ended up being a good deal because, I followed Uber stock, obviously. And here's the exchange, Chris. 6 years later, or 7 years, almost 8 years later, you settle it for 300 million because some legislative headwind was erased from the Uber company or corporation. Their stock went up from 43 to 50 today. Okay, so in about a short period of time. This was announced late last week. So Uber has 2 billion shares outstanding. Okay, billion with a B. So 7 points on 2 billion shares is $14 billion. So 300 million to relieve the pressure of some legislation. And I think it's a pretty good exchange. What do you think? 300 million for 14 billion in market cap increase, right?
Yeah, that's a nice little exchange.
That's a nice little exchange. I wish I could do that kind of exchange every day. And I wish all drivers could do that, right? That's like a
I know, right? Here, I'll give you $100, but then I get $15,000. Essentially what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'll give you $1, you give me 15,000. That's pretty good. Look, obviously, it's cash is cash that they have to put out, but now there's a big positive side to this. Okay, now the positive for Uber is that lawsuit by the Attorney General. So there were 2 settlements in this for Uber. Okay. One of the settlements was with the Attorney General's office, which was the 300 million or 290 million. But Uber sweetened the pot a little bit, right? And they ended up, giving the drivers a minimum wage floor in the state of New York, not just New York City. New York City has its own rules. The 5 boroughs play with their own rules. They have the TLC, Taxi Limousine Commission. They're very strong. They have terrific rights for their drivers. In this case, though, in the specific Attorney General's case, this case was settled by drivers staying independent contractors, period. Okay? The second case that was settled, which was, and Chris will talk about what the rights were of these drivers, because he's in New York. I mean, he's part of this settlement. If he was driving between 2014 and 2017, he may get some money, actually. The other thing is, now Chris is going to benefit from a minimum wage floor, okay? Active time, albeit, and he's going to benefit from some paid time, sick time, okay? Which he will explain to you guys. So I'll just explain the settlements. The first settlements with the AG, Attorney General, and everybody stays independent contractors, meaning the classification of the worker is what Uber wants, okay? In every single state, that's all they want, to come to the table and show the drivers some money. All Uber says is, I want all of you, all drivers, to stay independent contractors. And that's what they got with the AG settlement. Now, the second settlement was with the federal, on the federal side, which was actually on the state NLRB, which is the National Labor Bureau. On that one, with that entity, they did not come to a conclusion. They agreed to disagree as far as the classification of the drivers are concerned. However, on that side, they decided to start contributing into the state unemployment insurance fund. And that's also a positive for drivers who are driving now and who may be, let's say you get deactivated, right? If you got deactivated unjustly, not only you can go appeal this, obviously, but if it's proven that you got deactivated unjustly, you can benefit from the unemployment insurance fund. As we know, with regular employment, not everybody gets money when they get laid off. Now, if you get laid off, obviously you do it. But if you committed fraud or if you committed a crime, you're not going to be benefiting from unemployment insurance, even if you are an employee. So in this case, there is thresholds for people to start getting unemployment insurance. So Out of the two settlements, I think Uber liked it. And you know, I mean, you can tell the stock what it did. It relieved some pressure, and I have spoken to Uber about this. I have permission to say this. What they want is they want everybody to stay independent contractors, and they will sit down and agree to certain things that employees have as far as rights are concerned. And they're willing to talk about rates, and they're willing to talk about sick time off. And we have Prop 22 in California, not a hugely popular thing. But, you know, now, you know, Chris, you take over and tell the audience what you got, buddy.
Yeah, well, first, this is the thing that we got from Uber. So this is actually directly from them. So it will
Directly,
we'll break down not only the benefits and stuff that New York drivers now will get, but we're also going to talk about how you can get the settlement cash as well too, because I think that's very important for people who are driving then. And it doesn't matter if you were driving, stop driving. As long as you were driving during that time, you have the ability to put your name in for the settlement and get some money out of the deal. So whether you're driving, if you know somebody in New York that was driving, not anymore, talk to them about this because that is a big thing. I think one of the big things too to take away from this is what you were saying, how that's a lot of leverage when it comes to them saying we want drivers to remain independent contractors, and then we'll look at giving all of these things. I think that's something that we talked about the playbook when it came to Seattle and Washington, how they kind of did their thing, and they're continuing to do their thing. We said, oh, we thought it was just the Seattle legislation and the state of Washington legislation saying, too bad, so sad, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. But when in actuality, they were all at the table. It was Uber, Lyft, and the drivers, as well as legislators that were there that came together and worked out the deal. And that's what came about. So I think having that playbook and that idea is kind of the step one towards what New York did. I think other states can also take a look at that by saying, yeah, if we look at independent contractors and maybe some drivers want employees, but most drivers still want independent contractor. I would have to say, or venture, at least 80% want to be and remain independent contractors, whether it's current situation or getting some of these benefits added. I think most would be agreeing that they would want some sort of benefits that are coming on that. But one of the big things is the benefits can come. And again, step one, leading hopefully into step two, where it can look into more things. And then more likely off of the Seattle and the Washington model into the state of New York or other states that may be looking at some sort of legislation or settlement or anything like that. Now, with another side of the settlement coin that I want to mention before going on, this is New York State. And you know damn well between 2014 and 2017, when this was happening, that this was not happening just in New York State, that this was happening all over the place. So states, you should probably look into it a little bit more, seeing what happened, and then, you know, coming to the table and seeing what kind of settlements you could get for your drivers outside within those states during those times. So I think that's something that really needs to be addressed and looked at. But let's take a look at hold on, let me get this
Yeah,
started.
give me like 1 minute. Give me like 10 seconds to answer this. Why did the stock go up after being caught stealing? Good question.
Because
First
instead
of
of
all, they
having to
did
pay
not.
up here and you only got to pay out here.
Yeah. Well, number one, they did not admit to any wrongdoing. Part of the settlements are usually is like that, and Uber confirmed that they did not admit to any wrongdoing. That's number one. Number two, a huge potential headwind was lifted, meaning under the AG's agreement, drivers are all staying independent contractors. Look, this is Uber's playbook. They're willing to talk to you as long as you give them you give up collective bargaining rights and unionization. Right now, in the state NLRB's case, that's not happening yet. So there still could be potentially under the state National Labor Board. They didn't agree for classification, but under the state AG suit, they agreed that the drivers are staying independent contractors. That's a huge win for Uber, because Uber does not want anybody to be their employee other than their own 33,000. Okay, and so yeah, it's a win because a headwind was lifted. And this playbook is pretty clear now. Okay, they're either going to push Prop 22 all over the country, okay, which we don't like, period, or they're going to push something like this that they come to agreement in New York, which I call it Prop 22 light, actually. Okay, because there is no healthcare stipend and there is nothing in here that the drivers should get excited about. But Chris will, being from New York, he will talk about that. So that's why the stock went up and gained 14 billion in market capitalization. So
yeah, so this right here is the website. Link is going to be in the description. So again, if you are in New York State, if you've driven between 2014, 2017, this is November 10th, 2014 and May 22nd, 2017 for Uber. You could get back payments if you drove for Lyft between October 11th, 2015 and July 31st of 2017, then you may be getting it. Now, for the majority of drivers, it's going to be New York City based. It's not going to be New York State because New York State had not allowed Uber and Lyft to operate until the end of June of 2017. So Uber's payments may be all going to New York City. Uber did operate in New York State until they pretty much stopped it. So you got to make sure you pay attention to when you were driving, if you were driving in New York State. But yeah, basically go to the website. This is what you're going to see. If you had driven between, you can file the claim on either side. You can file both claims if you were driving both. And then it gives you some FAQs underneath for that. So it says, do you currently drive for New York for Lyft? Do you currently drive for Uber? And then kind of talks about that. Underneath, you can look at the new benefits. So it's going to give you sick leave. Basically, it's 30 hours that you work actively. Everything's active again. You earn 1 hour sick up to 56 hours. The minimum payment for non-New York City drivers is $26. The thing is, it will increase as well. So it's going to go from 26 to 26.39 and then 26.78 by June. After that, it will increase annually due to inflation. There's going to be paid training. So you're going to get $15 per hour or the lowest minimum wage for training. You're going to get hiring notices and earning statements as well. Chat support, which I think we all know, but they're going to expand the languages that it's going to allow. So English, Spanish, Canadian, as well, or Canadian French, I'm sorry, as well as Uber's got English, Spanish, French, Russian, Bengali, and Chinese, which I think pretty much if they're going to AI support, which we're going to be talking about, you could code it pretty much in any language you want. The one thing that I do like, though, hopefully this will be something that actually has some meaning, is activation to appealing. So if you get deactivated or anything, you have the ability to appeal it. So this is for any reason that it's telling you. So whether it's a just deactivation or an unjust deactivation, having some sort of deactivation process or appeal, I think can be a good thing for drivers. And then a settlement administrator. So this is Russ Consulting for the settlement page when it comes to the 328 million. So yeah, if you're a driver, like I said, check out this page. This will give you a lot of information when it comes down to everything that's going on in New York State. So I think there is some decent things here when it comes to Uber and Lyft having to have these things, but will it actually pay out drivers? This is all based on active time. So you got $26, almost $27 at the beginning of June next year that it's going to be at, and then go up from there every. I think it's March 2nd or something. It shows in the FAQ.
Yeah, I mean, 26 is
the
26,
problem
but
is
it's active.
this is active time. So this is only the time between you accepting a trip, going to pick them up, picking them up, and then dropping them off. Those are the only time that it's active. So the time that you're sitting there, that's not active time. So you're not getting paid for that. And I think that could be a little bit of a problem when it comes to drivers and what they're seeing, because what you see on there doesn't necessarily show active time. It says per hour. And then, it kind of talks about a couple of things where you have to decipher that. So I think that needs to be addressed a little bit. But yeah, unfortunately, that is going to come down to active time. So it's very similar to what's going on with Prop 22. I think it should just be raise rates to a certain level across the state and call it a day, something similar to Washington and Seattle. So
Well,
that's what I think. But
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, how many people that drove between 2014 and 2017, and the settlement was for the Black Car Fund that New York State had. How many people are still driving? And and obviously they have to get their money. I mean, as we know, this is a very transitory crowd, right? Most drivers last less than a year. So obviously, if you watch this and if you drove back then, Chris put up the link of the AG settlement or the Q&A part in the show notes. I mean, look, to me, this is a win for Uber. There is no ifs and buts about it. But again, this is how they're going to do it, people. This is the way it's going to work out. Uber says we will come to the table and negotiate state by state. They said they did not say this is exactly what's going to happen in every state, but we know what's happening in Massachusetts now with a Prop 22 clone. And they said this clear, flat out. They said state by state, this is our model. This is what we want to do. As long as drivers want to stay independent contractors, we're okay with that. We'll come to the table and give some, take some, talk about it, and come up with a conclusion. And that's what it is. I don't think there's much really to say. If you have any questions, you can send them to me. I read the whole thing. I understand the whole thing. So Sergio at therideshareguy.com. And yeah, that's it. And I think it was a pretty good exchange for Uber for this week anyway. So
yeah, I'm the thing is I'm hoping it's just step one. I hope there's going to be more steps that are going to be coming to the table, which is going to be designed to actually help drivers. I think over time, we're actually going to see if there's going to be any payouts when it comes to this minimum floor, because 26 per active hour is probably lower than what most drivers are going to be making when it comes down to it. So I mean, there
most
may be
likely,
some that are
Uber,
going to pay, but
I mean,
it's
Uber,
something I
but
hope that we start looking at the Washington state model and kind of look at enacting a couple of things there as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, Uber's earnings were today. I listened to the conference call. Great conference call, really. This guy runs. He's a good talker, obviously. And that this was talked about, legislation pressure, and they said they feel pretty comfortable that what happened in New York, and that's what they're going to support, and they're willing to sit down and talk, and they clearly said that. But the other thing is, Uber is built on data. Okay, we're going to talk about during the earnings segment of the show today how much data these people are collecting, and that 26, by the way, did not magically appear. Okay, they have all this data, and they came up with that number because pretty much every driver is hitting that number. So they don't have to pay out of pocket too much, right? And they have the data on everybody. I mean, they have the data individually, by the day, by the hour, how much each driver makes, and 26 per active hour. You guys have to understand, if your utilization rate is only 50%, okay? Let's say you're busy only half of that 60 minutes with a passenger in the car and on your way to the passenger. You take that 26 divided by half, divided by 2, you're only earning $13. So 26, again, is active hour, and it's going to depend on how busy you keep yourself and how many trips you take. And look, the other thing this is going to do is it's going to tell people, accept everything. We're going to back you up at 26 anyway, right? Accept all the $3, $4, $5 trips as long as you're busy 60 minutes out of the 60, or even have auto accept on, right? Accept. We're backing you up at 26. You're not going to earn less than 26 an hour. I think this will help the ends pretty much. And I mean, it's quite different than Seattle's, a little bit different than Prop 22. So this is the newer model. For me, the Washington State Seattle model is still the winner, but we'll see. We'll see where we go.
No, I agree with that. I mean, the only thing though that's nice is that sick time. So basically, for every 30 hours, you get 1 hour sick time. It's at that $26. So you get up to 56 hours per year. So 56 hours times 26. That's nice to be able to kind of not have to worry. So if you go out there and let's just say you compare it to a normal job, which is maybe an 8-hour shift. That's 7 days worth of hours right there. So you get a full week off that could be paid for when it comes to sick time and all that. So that's at least, I think, a benefit that's going to be good, because that is, at that 26 per hour or whatever the rate's going to be, because it is going to go up, basically almost to 27. So
that is your backup. No, you don't. You want to do more than 26, obviously. Okay,
Oh
that
yeah,
is your backup. That is your minimum. So you have a
that's your
backup at
floor.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the floor. So don't think you're only going to get 26. You could get 50. I mean, depending on your style of driving. I'm just saying that you do have a backdrop and you have like something to lean back on if it's not busy, whatever. But I'm just saying, don't look at 26 and say, "Oh, I'm just only going to make 26." No, that is the floor. The ceiling is yours. So, the other thing is, let's just reiterate on the second settlement with the NLRB of New York State, Uber and Lyft both are going to start depositing money into the state unemployment insurance
Unemployment.
fund. And
Yep.
that's also a pretty good win. I mean, if they deactivate you for no reason, you appeal, you
Well,
come out, you can collect
so here's the
unemployment.
thing.
So,
Early 2020, they actually had to start paying into the fund. So they're also backtracking pay, but they're not sharing how much that settlement is because that settlement's sealed. So we're not going to know how much that is going to come down to the costs that are associated with it. That could be 100 million, that could be 500 million, that could be, maybe even more, who knows. But I'm sure it's probably not that bad. But either way, yeah, it's sealed because they have to go back pay. And then, yeah, drivers are going to be able to collect unemployment when it comes down to it. So
yeah,
that can be a good thing. Hopefully, we'll have some more answers. ABC had commented how they're in upstate New York as well, and they're making 30 an hour when it comes to P2 and P3, which, yeah, I mean, they're talking about $35 the average driver makes during active time. So just goes to show you if it goes down to 26, you're going to have a little bit of a makeup there. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. And,
yeah.
we're going to be talking about
Time will tell how this
oversaturation
is
as
going to work
well.
out. Look,
Yeah,
this may be just a starting point, just like
I
Seattle,
hope.
Washington State. They can add to it. I think. Look, drivers have a floor. They're going to stay independent. Uber got what they wanted. Yeah, I mean, time will tell, man. I don't know. I mean, if I'm a New York driver, a newbie, don't know anything, don't know how to cherry pick, I'm taking everything. I have a guarantee of 26. Is it good? I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying, my opinion, Uber, I think like this one.
Yeah.
And
And like I say, I think we just need to continue going to the table and continuing increasing to make it more like a Seattle and Washington model because that's
yeah,
again to me that's the same thing as it was what you say. I appreciate that and I like that very much.
yeah,
It just gives everything around all around very well. You're
yeah,
getting better pay per mile per time, all that good stuff. You're getting sick time. You're getting paid time off. You're getting deactivation process and appeals. So I think that one's pretty good there. So
yeah.
um, we'll see.
Yeah. All right, we'll
And I
see.
mean, I'm hoping that deactivation does do well. I hope that people will be able to appeal it. There'll be a quick process and,
Yeah,
it won't be a problem. Hopefully, maybe there will be back pay. I don't know. We'll see. But
I
either
mean,
way, one of the things that you definitely need when it comes to any sort of appeal process, this is something that was talked about in your Business Insider article, is making sure that you screenshot everything because the
yep,
proof is with screenshots, but also having a dash camera is going to be key. So you want to make sure you have a dash camera. We like the display ride because it's going to upload to the cloud right away. So in the event that anything happens, you are going to be able to take care of it yourself. You'll be able to deactivate, or I'm sorry, you'll be able to appeal that deactivation, hopefully, because when it comes down to dash cameras, they do not lie. They tell you exactly what is happening. And so if somebody is going to go to an appeal, have this information and it shows that the passenger was lying, well, in that
yeah,
case, they're going to get back on the platform.
yeah,
So again, this is something, display ride, enter code RSG20, and you're going to get it from $25 a month down to $20 a month with 20% off. And something that's really cool too is they just came out with a body cam. So if you're doing food delivery, you can do this with the body camera. So it gives you the vest, it gives you the camera, and it's normally $30 a month. But if you enter code RSG, just RSG, you're going to get it for 33% off at $20 a month as well too. So you can look at maybe getting both of them, getting one or the other. But yeah, this is their new product that came out, and I think this is going to be really nice for delivery drivers out there to be safer. to be smarter and to be having that extra peace of mind when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I agree. I have one. That was one of my top point when it came to the article in the Business Insider. I go, you got to have a dash cam. I don't care how 10 hours, 20 hours, 70 hours, whatever you're doing, you got to have a dash cam these days. And so, yeah, that's what we recommend. And as far as the body cam, I think the vest comes with it too, right, Chris? They don't have to pay for the
Yep.
vest
Yeah, the
separately.
vest comes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So, I
part of it
mean,
because it's pretty hefty. So
yeah,
having that is gonna kind of take it off. You're not putting it on your shoulder or anything like that. So yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, it's a good thing to have. All right. So, next one we talk about
Well,
is
first,
what are we doing?
first, I think we're going to give away some money, and people were
Okay.
putting hashtag SMTMC in
Well,
already.
some people did
Sorry,
that.
we're not doing that one yet. You got to wait until you see a little banner. We start talking about it in order to get in on it. So
Yeah.
if you already put it in, you're going to have to re-put it in. But we're not doing hashtag SMTMC yet. We're going to do hashtag money. So if you want your chance to win $25, put hashtag money in the chat, and we will get to see who the winner is in just a few minutes. Before we do that, though, we do want to go to our next topic, and that's
Yeah.
going to be talking about Uber Support. Is Uber Support going to go full AI? And is it going to be better than having people overseas versus AI? Which is going to be better? So we're going to be talking about that right now.
Yeah. I actually got this in my app 2 days ago, either Friday or over the weekend. Okay. So it says support now is going to be in 3 separate choices. As a driver, you have 3 separate choices. Okay. One is a live chat, which is totally run by AI. Okay. And it clearly shows on the screenshots. It's going to be in your app. So the choices are going to be live chat, message, meaning the usual cut and paste that used to go back and forth, or you still have a choice for a phone call. Okay. So I think it's pretty cool. But from what I heard today during the earnings conference call, all of these are going to be at some point shortly, maybe not a year, but pretty soon, are going to be replaced by AI chatbots. And hopefully, I was hoping, Chris, that the AI chatbots learn faster than Philippines, and that that these live chatbots are not set up to deny and decline like the other bots that they were using for messaging, right? So your usual way is going to be, obviously, you click help, and then it'll give you the 3 choices, and you take your pick, and the explanation is in your apps. I mean, I don't know if everybody got this over the weekend. I got it, and I think I will use all 3 just to give it a run. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure at some points there will be a glitch that I need
Oh
to
yeah.
deal with. So I will try all 3 and then give you guys my review after I deal with all 3 separately, which one worked better. So it says, according to Uber, chat is going to be the fastest. Okay, so every time we actually go to a website for retailer, online retailer, or whatever, you guys know that little chat bot pops up on the side. It goes, "Hey, I'm blah blah blah. How can I help you today?" It's going to be just like that. And according to Uber, it's going to be the fastest way to resolve your problems. The second one is going to be messaging. The banner is covering what messaging will do, but that's going to be slower, right? Communication back and forth with us at your convenience will respond within 24 hours. So chat is the fastest, messaging is medium. And if both fail, you can always talk to Philippines. So you can always call.
Well, until it becomes an AI chatbot. So when you're calling somebody, it's going to be an AI chatbot. So it's going to be the same thing as whether it's the chat that you're actually texting on the phone versus the phone call itself. We all know that.
Yeah. I mean, look, I will give this live chat a shot on the first glitch that I run into, and hopefully they're gonna learn fast. And look, the most debilitating thing for a driver is after a long shift, you're just banging your head against the wall. It's like, bro,
Yep.
I want my $3. Okay, that's all I want. So give me my money. And it just takes too long. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this will solve that problem. And I will definitely test it out. I will test all 3. and give you guys my review because this just showed up in my app. So I don't know how many of you have it. I'm in LA, California. So we'll see.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this if it's going to be better or not, and I think it's actually going to start off probably a lot worse, and we're probably going to have a lot of laughs. And people who are watching this, send us your crazy chats when you get the live chat, because I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of mistakes and issues and stuff like that. But I think within time, it's going to be really well. And I mean, just look at ChatGPT. So if you use that, some of those things that you can get in responses can actually be pretty good, while others can be pretty bad. So I think over time it'll probably learn predictively pretty well. And I think it'll have a much better grasp on things when it comes to how to deal with support issues and things like that, because it's going to train from itself. So if you have that issue and then somebody else has that issue, it's going to kind of come in the same thing.
There you go.
Used it yesterday and got $20. Nice.
Roxy,
But yeah,
Roxy
I
got
honestly,
$20.
I think it's going to be probably better overall, because when we talk to somebody who's in the Philippines, one, they don't understand what we're talking about. They're just chat support. So they don't know the same things that we're going through. I'm not saying an AI is going to know that, but it's at least going to be coded by the people who work at Uber, and
Hopefully.
they're going to be able to put in the parameters that need to be met and all that stuff. So I think it's
Yeah.
actually probably going to be better than chatting with somebody in the Philippines in due time.
Yeah. No, driving style, no, and no, and no. There's your
No, we
short
don't talk to
answer.
Uber crew.
Uber crew, absolutely not. Do they get paid? I think they do now. Originally, it
Yes,
was
they
a
do get a
volunteer job. I think
stipend.
now they get paid.
They get a
It's a
stipend,
Kool-Aid.
but it's not like it's not a lot.
It's look. The Uber crew is what it is. It's handpicked drivers, bunch of Kool-Aid drinkers. I applied a few months ago. I didn't get picked, obvious reasons, and so that's that. Uber crew is not who I talk to. I talk to different people at Uber.
It was like a third party.
Pretty high up. And Roxy, you got to tell us: did you use the chat messaging or the live support to get your $20? Put chat, live, or messaging, so we'll know where you got it. You just left like a message. Now I'm wondering, 15 minutes to get $20 is pretty good, Chris.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I'm saying?
like I say, I think it's going to be a very fast turnaround if they
I hope
implement
so.
something that's going to be a ChatGPT style API or something like that. So whether they're using part of that or whether they're creating their own, I
Yeah.
don't know, but I think it's going to be better, because they're going to be able to put certain instances in, and then if it flags it where it can't fix it, it could probably flag it to somebody who can look at it, and then they can either fix it or add that coding into it, do a lot of different things. So
uh,
I think it's going to be better overall.
Yeah, Derek,
IMO.
welcome to the show. The answer for that is hell no. Uh, for $20, 130 miles. But Derek, I don't know how long you've been driving, buddy. We talk about this all the time. After each trip, people, please pull over. Don't take off like Mario Andretti. You're not in a rush to go to the next passenger. Check the car, back seat, front seat, check it all, because then you don't have to have this kind of headache to drive 130 miles to return the phone for $20. Okay. That's
Yeah.
just you gotta do these things, man. So
Honestly, let me ask you, what would you do in that situation if you were in Derek's situation? Would you go the 130
I
miles, or would
know
you
what I would do is I
figure
would
something
tell
else
the
out?
passenger, I don't want any money from you. Call an Uber from where I'm at to your address. I'll give the phone to the Uber driver. They'll bring it to you, and that's what I do if it's that far. If it's
Yep.
maybe 20 miles, I may meet them halfway or whatever. But my range is 20 miles, bro. You forgot the phone there. It's your responsibility. Obviously, some of it is mine because I didn't check it because I was in some sort of rush. No, I'll tell the passenger, hey, I'm not driving 130 miles. And, don't deal with the passenger on the side saying, give me some cash. Then they'll report you. You don't want to deal with any of that stuff. Now, if they offer saying, look, I'll Venmo you $50 to bring it to me, then it's up to you.
Yep.
But yeah,
I
I
mean,
wouldn't do that.
for
Let
me
them teach a
personally,
lesson. Have
I
them
would
over
do
an Uber.
what a couple of people in chat are doing, and they're saying, dude, to either mail it or have it FedExed or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, I think that would be a much better option, because then it's probably going to be cheaper than doing Uber Connect to drop that package off or something. But yeah, it's definitely something where I would not be driving out that far
No, I'm not going to
go
do
do
that.
that, especially not for $20. There's no way in hell.
Yeah, Uber Connect. A lot of people saying, yeah, great idea. Driver will make some money if they take on the job to take the phone back. Uber will make some money, and the passenger, it'll cost them less. I mean, 120 miles is a long way though. That Uber Connect is going to probably cost them 80, 90
And
bucks.
that's just one way. It's 120
Yeah.
miles and then 120 miles back.
Yeah, I'm not
So
doing it.
yeah,
No.
that's a lot.
Not a chance.
I mean, if that person was going to be around town or something in the
Yeah.
next couple of days, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll keep it safe. I'll meet it up with you or something. But
Yeah.
other than that, yeah, I would be trying to figure something else out.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether it's Uber
So,
Connect, whether it's
but
FedEx or something. But
just like, look, just like you can avoid all these problems. They're just like for deactivation, I put like really, really great some pointers how to not get deactivated. You still can. It's not a guarantee, in the BI article. But in this case, we talked about that cat that was lost or whatever happened, right? Lyft was up and down trying to find that cat couple of weeks ago or whatever it was.
yep.
You need to stop after you drop it off, especially at night, because especially at bar hours, people are drunk, whatever, they take their phone out, listen to music, whatever, and they leave it there. You need to pull over at the best spot, stop, look in your back seat, the cracks. I have done this forever because after one time, somebody left their phone in my car and I went through that experience. I'm like, no. So there is, you can avoid all these problems by taking small precautions, and that's a really, really helpful hint for you guys. So.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. That's probably the best thing. Just look behind you, turn the light on, look, and you're good to go.
What kind of dollars
All
is
right.
that, bro? Is that like I don't know, Mexican dollars? I'm not sure. Like $1,000. The phone is
Oh,
not worth
that phone must have had some very
I'm not
important
buying
things
that,
on it or
Julio.
something.
What kind of, I don't know.
Something special.
Yeah. Why did he have all his drug dealers' phone numbers in there? What's happening there? I just don't know.
I don't know, something. But speaking of $25, instead of $20, and you don't even
$25
have to
coming.
drive anywhere, you could just enter hashtag money. So there you go.
Hashtag
Let's see
money.
who's the winner.
Yeah.
The mayor. Congratulations, the mayor. You are today's winner of $25. Make sure you hit up Sergio at therideshareguy.com, and he will get you your money.
No email, no money.
Yep, no email, no money.
And you guys have 24 hours to email me, because there was a guy like this last week. He emailed me from episode 65, Chris.
Holy crap!
When was that, bro?
Sorry,
it was like
that was 15 weeks ago.
Like,
today is 80. Is 65 was 15 weeks ago.
Spam. He goes, it went into my spam, and my spam got deleted. I go, that's not my problem. But anyway, we're going to try to make it up. So the mayor, please, Sergio at therideshareguy.com. 24 hours you have to get your money. All right, next one.
All right. Well, let's talk about Uber earnings. So the earnings call just went out earlier this morning, their conference call. You listened to it. You had some takeaway. You texted me saying drivers are fucked. All capital letters. So we're definitely going to be talking about that and why.
Oh, okay. Now that you started that way. Now that you started that way, Chris. Well, I don't think we need to talk about it. Chris said it. Drivers are effed. There you go. It's like, okay. All I know is this guy is a master at communication. Okay. He introduced a new CFO who came over from ADI and Analog Devices, and Nelson Chai is out as the old CFO for 5 years. So the quarter was good. They missed. They like. I mean, these numbers are so convoluted. If anybody understands it, please let me know. But I did read all through it. Look, Uber does this with their earnings very well. Okay, they have like 25 columns. Okay, they just shift numbers around and make things look good. Okay, so the reason it says miss analyst expectations is because they moved the column of some money from the column of, because they have investments all over the world, okay, which are underwater. but they mark those to market up and down, up and down. So when they need good numbers, they'll just move it into that column. When they need to take a little bit of a loss, make it like, make it like they did not do as well, they move it into that column. So nobody understands his earnings. I do understand it, but for me to explain it to you guys, it's not necessary. Now, however, listening to the numbers are the numbers. These are impressive numbers, Chris. I don't care how much hate there is for Uber on this planet, okay? All right. Remember the 2.3 billion trips, Chris?
Yep.
You want to 2.44 billion trips, Chris.
Wow. That's a lot. That's 100 million more rides per quarter in the quarter.
Yes, in additional rides on top of the 2.3, right? So more shaving possibilities now. So now we have to up our shaving level to 250 million a quarter. We were at 230 million a quarter. Now we're at 250 million a quarter. But all joking aside, they're doing over 1 million trips per hour, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, every single hour. That's the average. That's ridiculous. And I always wonder how the shit works as well as it does. At 1 million trips per hour, people. Think about this. Think about the scale. The other thing that blew me away was they had 134 million MAUs, or monthly active users. They changed the acronym for that now to MAPC to confuse me more. Until I figured that out, I spent 10 minutes. What the heck is MAPC? They went to 142 million, Chris, from 134 million last quarter. So people are using Uber right, left, sideways. Uber Eats, Uber Connect, Uber this, Uber that, Uber boat, Uber shit, Uber, right? 142 million MAPCs, which is monthly active paying customers. I don't know why they changed it, but they changed it. I don't know why. The numbers are good. Companies hitting on all cylinders. However, while Chris said the drivers are effed, here's the other numbers. Okay. Last quarter, there were 5 million active drivers. In one single quarter, which is 3 months, people, in business. Today, active driver count is at 6.5 million drivers. Let me reiterate that to you guys. 6.5 million active drivers. From 5 million to 6.5 million. 1.5 million newbies showed up to drive. And Uber couldn't be more happy about it. Now, you all wonder why you get a ping an hour? Is exactly because of that. If this does not, hit the headline of our show today, which is our Uber and Lyft markets oversaturated, well, there's your answer. They went from 5 to 6.5. Dara was gloating and saying that the reason for people to come to the platform is because of upfront fares, because of the total transparency that it provides the driver. Drivers don't have to think much. That's why they grew the driver base supply. Did you just say bullshit?
Yeah. Here,
So,
I mean, he can sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves.
Yeah, he said the 6.5 million active drivers. Okay. Listen to this, people. Uber contributed to the pockets of these drivers and conversely into the general economy $15.9 billion with a B. Okay. That includes tips and incentives, obviously. $16 billion almost went into the pockets of drivers. Okay, you cannot argue with that. That's a lot of shit ton of money. Okay.
Yep.
Lastly,
but that pie split 5 million ways. Yes. You're getting that little sliver. Now you're splitting that pie to 6.5 million slivers. Now
that question was asked by an analyst. They said it seems like now your supply. When they say supply, by the way, at the conference call. By the way, this all of you can go listen to this. It's on the Uber's website. Initially, you have to sign on, but now it's open to public. You guys can go listen. This is a 45-minute conference call. They said that the 6.5 million obviously is an all-time high. So markets are going to be oversaturated, obviously. Mm-hmm. And 16 billion is a lot of money going to the drivers. This is just Uber. Figure out DoorDash, Grubhub, Instacart. The gig economy is huge. Okay, and the amount of trips they did blew me away. Now, the important part was this. They said supply may be outstripping demand. for the first time in the company's history, Chris. Okay? Supply being the driver count, outstripping demand, meaning demand is still growing. I mean, look, it went from 2.3 billion trips to 2.44 billion trips. Okay? So the demand is strong, it's still there. And in all markets, they are at pre-pandemic or better levels. Okay? I mean, it was like a glowing quarter. There was nothing wrong with as far as the company is concerned. However, lastly, on the downside, he says the cost of acquisition of drivers is very low, the lowest it's ever been, meaning all the bonuses they put out to onboard new drivers. And the other thing that he was talking about is that the cost of running the existing driver base is very low now, just because there are so many drivers, they don't have to put out incentives. They call that cost of running the business. And they said in the US, that's down 50% from last year's same quarter, same third quarter. So incentives are down 50% on average in 1 year. And going forward, they see the same thing continuing. They see the same, more people joining the platform. They said, we're going to continue recruiting. We're going to continue onboarding because we want our ETAs to go down and we want surge to disappear. Well, surge is going to disappear if you have that many more drivers in every city, right? So now when drivers say, I'm only getting a ping an hour, now you guys know why that's happening. And yeah, it was an amazing quarter as far as Uber is concerned. Last, they are heavily using AI and machine learning. They are, he says, in one part, actually, the onboarding of drivers have been aided by the heavy usage of AI because AI is better than a human when you upload a document. It does it faster, it reads it faster, it approves it faster. As far as onboarding, that's helping. Obviously, we talked about chat. They're going to AI for sure. But he also said the algorithm, the upfront algorithm, is constantly learning. And I did not understand this, but he said, he even made fun of, he said, why would anybody price a trip on time and distance? And I'm like, I'm not sure, because that's what it should be in transportation. But long story short, it was a great quarter for Uber, and drivers are effed because there is 1.5 million more of us out there than it was last quarter. So,
yep. And on top of that, let's be real on the reasons why there's so many more drivers. First, somebody said in the comments, there's a lot of people coming into the country that can now work, which we're going to be talking about actually in our next segment. That's one of them. And then the other side of the coin is how bad everything is going out there. So the economy is not in a good place, and people are having to work more in order to bring home less to try to pay the bills. So what are you going to do? You're going to resort to other avenues of trying to make money, whether that's Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, some sort of gig, whether that may be an OnlyFans, but who knows? There's a lot of different things going on when it comes down to all this. So yeah, people are trying to make money, and unfortunately, it's going to screw a lot of us because if you got to split the pie 6.5 million ways instead of 5 million ways, that's a giant chunk right there. I mean, what's the percentage difference between 1.5 million more
30%,
drivers from 5 million?
30%,
30%, almost
5
30,
to 6.5
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you got 30% more drivers on the platform in one quarter, which is 3 months. And now you know why things are looking 30% worse.
Yeah.
So
and to piss everybody off here more than what I already said, I'm just a messenger, so don't shoot me. Don't send me hate mail, please. I'm just a messenger. He said, okay, see, okay, there's 6.5 million drivers now. Okay, actually, you know what? I just thought about this. Okay, he said nationwide earnings are at their highest level per driver. You guys can go listen. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me. He said nationwide average driver earnings, including incentives and tips, stands at $33 per active hour. And he said in New York City, it's $50 per active hour. Again, per active hour. Let's do this. I want to create a folder, which I don't have, which I need, like a hole in the head, people. How about this? Because all of you say bullshit, 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 bullshit. Nobody's making 33. I get it. However, this is the CEO of, actually at the closing price today, Chris, $100 billion market capitalization at $50. They have 2 billion shares outstanding. Okay. How about you people send me statements? Okay. Meaning not statements, but like
I'd like, you know what? I'd like to see though earnings trends over. I'd like to get a lot of data though, not just currently, but I'd also like to go back. We start going back in time, and then that way we can plot out and see where our driver earnings actually going. Are they actually going up like they're saying? Are they going down? Are they staying the same? I mean, what's going on there? So
they have the
yeah,
data,
I'd be
bro.
interested to know exactly what that type of data looks like.
Yeah, they have the data. Yeah, I would like to actually do a data, collection like that and send it to him. And he was going to say it's a small sample size. Out of 6.5 million drivers, you only have 500 drivers. I get it. That's what he will say. But you know what? I mean, not everybody's making 33 an active hour, Chris. I know that for a fact. The average is that. So New Yorkers are making 50. Somebody in Nashville, which I know the rates are shit, and now they have the new surge with the clouds now, right? I'm going like, there's no way anybody in Nashville is making $33 an active hour, so I was just kind of averaging it out. LA is averaging people up, and San Francisco, San Diego, California is averaging people up probably. And to me, it's like, look, the company as a company is doing well because they're charging more, they're paying as little as possible, they're taking their cut. By the way, the take rate stayed, actually, it was less than the last quarter. So the take rate went down, but because the trips went up from 2.3 to 2.44, and the costs went down, because cost meaning your incentives are all going down. We all complain about, oh, incentives are shit. Yeah, that's part of the cost. And that's pushing their take rate back up to, so basically they can lower the rates for the passenger and, create more demand for themselves. And look, that's why next week, Chris, you don't know this, but I'm announcing it now. We're going to start teaching how to be a cherry picker. And it's going to be called the anatomy of a cherry picker. Okay. We need to start doing this because look, there's not all bad here. 2.44 billion trips. In 2.44 billion trips, there are some cherries, Beetle. Okay. Stop crying that there are no cherries. There are going to be some cherries in there. And let me tell you something. I have some LA drivers who are absolutely killing it. Okay. So I know your city is not LA, but we need to start teaching how to cherry pick and better.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, let's talk about the next thing, which is more oversaturation news, and an unfortunate thing when it comes to hearing 5 million to 6.5 million new drivers. There's more drivers that will possibly be coming very soon.
Yeah, then that's the next one.
Huh?
You have the Uber third quarter thing up.
Oh, whoops. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. This is the touchy subject, people. Okay. I'm trying to as PC as possible. I wanted to talk about this actually next week. I think on the 13th of December or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to be on Money Hungry with Kim and Zach because they're kind of shying away from talking about these things. All right. Listen, this is a huge problem for all existing drivers. Okay. Look, we're a country built on immigrants. I'm an immigrant. I have nothing against it. Bring me everybody. But when you allow 500,000 Venezuelan migrants to work legally in this country, guess where do you think they're all going to go? And there are some unscrupulous, shady ass characters making these people work. But we're going to talk about that on a segment separately because this is a huge issue. And Uber and Lyft and DoorDash can all stop this by more frequent ID checks, meaning selfies. Okay. They're not doing it because it fits their bill. But out of this 500,000, how many people do you think people are going to go into gig work? Okay, rent a car and get out there and drive, add to oversaturation, or do food delivery. Okay, a ton, because they have work permits already, and that's what they're going to do. I don't blame these people. Now, if you come from Venezuela and there you're making $50 a month, and then here you're going to make $100 a day. I mean, hey, to them it's great. To us, it's horrible. Okay, so there is a huge problem that people are not talking about, which I'm actually talking about a couple of journalists today about this. Uber and Lyft has to come, and DoorDash specifically, have to come clean about this because a lot of deliveries are being done, and it says Sergio is going to bring your food and Mary is showing up at the door, or Mary is supposed to bring the food, Sergio is showing up at the door. There are accounts that are being sold in the black market to be able to get on DoorDash and do this. And DoorDash and Uber Eats specifically in the delivery world are not stopping this. Look, as rideshare drivers, we all know, right? How many? Every 6 hours you get a verification, notification. They have to take a picture of selfie of yourself to keep driving, right? Why aren't they doing it here on deliveries? Because it fits their bill, because all those $2 trash orders are being delivered by these poor people. And lastly, on this subject, there are mafias, there are unscrupulous, shady pieces of shit in this country who are exploiting these people and discriminating against these people and making them work, saying that here's a DoorDash account, go work. Okay, great. Well, I'm going to give you $50 a day. Well, if you work on DoorDash 12 hours and accept every freaking order, okay, you're going to make $20 an hour gross. Okay, well, that's $240. They're giving the person $50 a day and collecting the rest. The money, these people, these poor immigrants are not even making the money that they're making, because there are people out there with accounts who are shipping it right and left, rideshare as well. Number two, it's a safety problem. It's a huge safety problem. Okay, none of these people are background checked. And to me, this could be ended immediately by all these companies, but they're not doing it. And I've felt compelled to talk about this. Now, I don't know, you guys hate me or love me about this, but this is going to definitely add to the oversaturation problem. In fact, in Chicago, 12,000 of them are already doing this. And here it is. So I am like, I don't know. This is not a political issue. This is an issue about protecting these immigrants from these shady ass MFers out there who are making them collectively work for nothing, basically. But if you came from Venezuela and somebody's giving you $50 a day to go to DoorDash for 12 hours, hell, you're going to do it because you were making $50 a week as opposed to a day in Venezuela, right? So I don't want these people to get taken advantage of, and I need these companies to stop this ASAP. This is also happening in rideshare, and companies are shying away from stopping this. Ask every driver every 2 hours to take a photo ID of themselves. This will end immediately. So there you go. So I'm really, really passionate about this, and I don't want these immigrants' first experience in this country to be working for some mobster or whatever they're doing. Okay, and I don't want these people taken advantage of, but I also don't want the existing brothers and sisters of mine to get effed because 500,000 more people just showed up. So that's it. I know not too many people will touch this, but I go, screw it. Open the Pandora's box.
Yep. No, I mean, it needs to be said because we all need to know what's going on. So the biggest thing is if you're driving and there's a bunch more drivers on the platform, what is that going to look like? What does that mean? Again, like you said earlier, less weekly bonuses and quests. I'm not getting my weekday quests anymore. Only weekend, and they're starting to go down. So who knows if those are going to go away as well too soon. Same thing when it comes to the surge maps. You're not necessarily going to see the surge maps, or it's not going to look the same as it was. So you got to be really, really smart out there, really strategic at this time. And hopefully in the near future, we may see the swing pendulum back. But who knows if that's going to actually happen or not.
The trend is not your friend, buddy. The trend is not the driver's friend as far as earnings is concerned. $1 million, it's simple supply and demand. If you have 30% more drivers, and the pings stay constant, your pings are going to be less. Your utilization is going to be lower. So but there are cherries out there. I'm telling you, I'm so excited about this next segment next week about how to cherry pick. Not 101, like we're graduating now because everybody knows how to cherry pick, hopefully, that watch us. But yeah, CPU needs a big comeback. And bro, I'm telling you, some of these drivers in LA, bro, I'm just loving. Every time they send me a screenshot, I get goosebumps. I go like, wow, this is still possible. So cherries are there, people. Just got to be patient.
Oh yeah. Well, let's talk about on a better note. Let's talk about some of the earnings that some drivers can be making in Seattle and Washington, and probably the reasons why we enjoy it and like it so much.
Yeah. Okay, these are recent earnings. Did you match them up week to week, Chris?
Yeah.
Because I sent you in a jumble. I'm sure you did. Okay. So,
I
all
had
right.
to. Yeah, they were all
Yeah,
over the
I know.
place.
Yeah, I figured because I was like tired, bro. I go like, okay, you can take care of this one. So this guy, a very good close friend of our show, he sent me his weekly, from August, and actually he went to vacation. That's why it ended there. But he sent me 4 weeks worth of his earnings. This is from Washington State. He is not in the city of Seattle. Okay. And it's a mixture of earnings. So in the city of Seattle, the rates are $1.50 a mile and 64 cents a minute. But this is a mixture. In Washington State, they're lower. They're $1.30 a mile and 38 cents a minute. So here's the deal. This is his earnings from on both platforms. He multi-apps, obviously. So let's take the higher end. So on Uber, he grossed $1,411.16. And on Lyft, he grossed $1,246. So if you look at his online hours max between the two apps, both apps on at the same time, 54 hours. Let's take 55 hours. So at 55 hours, $2,700. This is possible. And if you look at the screenshots, people, there is no promotions here. Okay. There is no promotions at all because they don't put out promotions because the rates are so high. The reason he's making this money he's making is because of the rates. Okay. And he did 68 trips on Uber and how many trips? 55 trips on Lyft. So that's 123 trips all week. 123 trips. He grossed about 2,700. So that comes to about 25 average. The reason for that is also $1.50 a mile and 64 cents a minute or higher rates. Plus, he has 70% of what employees have as far as sick leave, paid time off, and all that good stuff, and just the activation stuff. So next week, let's see what he did. Week after, 1,619 on Uber, 48 hours online, and 737 on Lyft. That's about $2,400. 40 trips on Lyft, 60 trips on Uber, 100 trips. Again, his average is about 24, 25. This is what we want. This, William, he does not get, there are very few surges. Look, you don't need surge if you're driving for $1.50 a mile and 64 cents a minute. And next week, again, this is August 21 to August 28th, 1,471 on Uber and 886, so about $2,400. Again, he drove 53 hours online on one. This week, he did more trips. It looks like 126 trips. And but if you look at Lyft book time versus his, see, this is why Lyft is saying, Chris, that they're earning like 33, 35 book time. This guy is earning like $70 or some shit book time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going like, wow, yeah. So this is what's possible, people. And I think I sent you one more, all right? Or this was it?
No, that was it.
That was it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, week after week, the guy's grossing 50, 52, 55 hours. That's online on Uber. So I'm active. I'm guessing if he's at, because he accepts 96% of his trips. There's no reason to decline trips at $1.50 a mile and 64 cents a minute. And his utilization is like pretty high. And so let's say he's active hour 40 hours, 45 hours actively driving, and 23 to 2,500 bucks. That's 40, 50 bucks active hour, 35 to 38 online hour. And that's how life is in Washington and Seattle. And that's what we want to do everywhere.
Yep.
So
I think that's going to be much better because 26 per active hour, when it comes down to it, probably, again, not going to be really paid out unless you're just not doing something right.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
at least it
these are
sets up
great
that
numbers,
floor
right?
for the people who don't do it right. But then, the drivers who are doing right, unfortunately, they don't get anything that's going to help pick them up. So,
Yeah.
it's a problem right there.
Yeah, but so I see a question that you do Yaba Bababu, or I forgot, you just went too fast. You can add Uber online hours and Lyft online hours and add them up and say, oh, this guy was working 100 hours. No, both apps are on at the same time. Like I do in LA when I go drive. I have 7 apps on at the same time. So each one has 50 hours of online time. I'm not working 50 hours online. But this is what I'm trying to say. The reason I put this up is because making 25 or grossing 25, 27, $3,000 a week is still a possibility in 50 hours, 50, 60 hours, is because of the rates. Okay.
Yep.
So Uber math don't add. When you pay me 60 cents a mile and 21 cents a minute, I cannot make this kind of money. I just can't. But at $1.50,
Yeah, you'd have to do 3 times the amount.
Exactly.
just
So
to get
there
there.
you go. It's possible. So let's push for this, people. Instead of the New York thing that happened or Prop 22, let's push for something like this nationwide. How about that?
Yeah, that's definitely a lot better of a situation going on as the Seattle, Washington. Now,
Yeah.
the different, I'm not sure. What about Prop 22 in California? Can it be added on
I
to,
actually asked
or
that to Uber. I asked that to Uber. Uber said, we can't comment. It's in litigation. I agree with them. But I think we probably will have an answer first, hopefully by the end of the first quarter of next year, out of the Supreme Court of California. So,
yeah, well, that's whether it's going to be constitutionally upheld or
yeah,
not. But what I'm
yeah,
asking is, let's say everything's good to go. Prop 22 is law of California.
yeah.
Can they add to it? Is that step one? Can they start bringing in step two, or
No.
is it something like the 9/10ths to make any changes? Is going
Yeah,
to
you need
be
9/10, and they're not going to add anything to it. They already said that this is as good as the program can be. Actually, it's a very good program, they said. I'm going like, how's it good? It eliminates 80 to 85% of drivers, bro. Nobody drives 25 hours active every week to get the healthcare stipend. What kind of bullshit is that? I'm trying to get some answers. You know what I mean? They come back to you with all this mumbo jumbo, and I go like, this is not even the question. This feels like I'm talking to Uber support. What's wrong with you people? And yeah, he does take all trips. His acceptance rate is 96% bear close. You would take that too at $1.50, 64.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, my acceptance rate would be way higher with rates from Seattle.
What is your
and
acceptance rate?
Washington.
Mine is like 12.
Mine is 34.
34. Yeah, it'll be mine will be 90 plus for
At
sure.
least that's
And
the last
it has
time I
never
looked.
been
It's around
90.
there.
Yeah, it have never
Yeah.
been
Oh yeah.
90.
Same here. Same here. Absolutely. And I think that would turn any cherry picker into an ant, pretty much, with those types
And
of
number
rates.
one, I will switch you unions from CPU to
Yeah.
AFU like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
well, the reason why I ask if anything can be added to Prop 22 is because that's
Yeah.
what they're doing with Seattle and Washington. Is they're
I
taking,
know.
step one, then going to step two, then going to step three, and now
They don't
they're
have
like
that.
step 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing that I'm more curious about too with New York. Is it going to be something? I mean, there's no restrictions on that, so it could be things that could be brought back to the table and re-agreed upon, where there could be some extra benefits. So I'm hoping it's just step one, and then we can move on to step 2, step 3,
Yeah.
and
I
kind of
think,
make it a much
look,
better.
in New York, I think you have a chance because it's open ended. In California, it's pretty set with Prop 22, what the benefits are and how many hours you have to drive. The 120% of minimum wage and all that stuff is pretty set. Unless it's unconstitutional, then ball game starts all over.
Yep.
But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Yep. It'll be interesting. Well, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about funnies. Let's see.
Do we give
Well,
money?
you got it. Huh? No. We're
Are we
not
gonna
doing
give
money
money?
just yet.
Oh, we're not doing money yet.
But
Okay.
no, not just yet. The one
Okay.
thing you're gonna have to fill me in. Are we gonna bring people onto this or no?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
Do we have
Let
time?
me.
Do we have time?
Yeah, we can. Let me copy
Okay, we'll
that. Let
bring
me
in
get the
3 people.
comments
How
out.
about this? 3 people. 3. Are we at the funnies yet? Yeah, we are. I see it. We're at the funnies. Yeah, we can bring 3 people. 3 people. 3. So the first 3 takes the cake.
All right.
Oh,
So we're
there's
gonna
my.
put the
Hold
link
on.
in.
There's my LA Chief of Staff of Cherry Pickers United right there, Mr. Gambit right there. Bro, that guy is a sweet cherry picker, bro. Sweet.
Nice. Well, let's invite some people on. We're gonna go through the funnies. We'll
3.
see you. We can see you in the back, in the green room, we'll call it. But in any way, you could come on and enjoy. I put the StreamYard link there, so if you want to come on, we'll give you 5 minutes to talk. We'll bring 3 people on, just for time purposes. And
Next week we'll bring more people on. How about that? Because next week we don't
all
have a
right,
guest. Yeah.
sounds good. So yeah, you're gonna have to tell me about this picture right here. I mean, I know
Okay,
this
you
is
know who this is,
Donnie.
right? You know who this is.
I know this is Donnie.
That's Donnie.
But
Donnie, are you here, Donnie? Okay, this was
I
his
didn't see him,
Halloween
so I'm not
outfit,
sure.
bro. This was his
Oh,
Halloween
okay.
outfit. Yeah. And he sends, Donnie is Donnie, bro. What am I going to do with Donnie? Donnie
Hey,
emails me.
is Jeff here?
I
It
don't
looks like
know.
his little. It looks like Jeff's little mannequin. Her hand got trapped in his.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's Donnie Disco. The reason he's named Donnie, I mean, we have a behind the wheel interview with this gentleman who's very popular. And so there you go. This was his, and then there's a hand sticking out of his white Suburban back there. He does Excel. He's in Biloxi, Mississippi. He kills it, bro. His tips are like crazy every week, but he's in a casino town, so everybody's happy, everybody's drunk, whatever. And you know, he's in his 60s, he's working hard 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and he's making his money. And you know, Donnie, thumbs up. There you go. Oh, Sunshine Man is here. Yeah. Sunshine Man, by the way,
it's not Lily's hand. Lily is the
Sunshine Man is going to be a
mannequin's
very
name,
famous
so
person pretty soon. Because Uber got a hold of, Dara has his book, and Uber got a hold of him already, saying, can we take this national? So Sunshine Man is all going to forget all about Show Me the Money, and he's going to go on his book tour and all this shit, you know what I mean? So hopefully Sunshine Man, Jeff, you don't do that. You don't.
Well, if you make it up to Buffalo, then we'll be able to we'll go to the book signing. There's a what is it, Borders that's around, so, or Barnes and Noble or whatever it is now. So
yeah, we got to give some free books, Sunshine Man. How about that? Okay, there you go.
All right, well, let's look at the next thing. This is
this one hit
this
me
is a
kind of
love
funny.
fest between the two CEOs, huh?
Look at this shit. You think they're just the brothers of best of friends, and look at them, they're hugging each other and shit. This is not Photoshop, bro. This is from
I know this is on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter or LinkedIn. I think it was LinkedIn. They go, Dara Khosrowshahi and I may not agree on anything, but we agree about kids and reading. I'm like, yeah, I 100% agree. And kids and doing code, actually, girls coding, okay? And I was like, wonderful. So whose smile is fake out of those two? So the one on the left, the David Risher, we interviewed, okay? The one on the right is Dara Khosrowshahi. So Mr. Khosrowshahi, look, come on. I mean, we have like a couple of months until the end of the year, okay? Like, this year was a fantastic year for our crew. Let's just end with a bang with you coming on the show and, you know, talking to us for about half hour, 45 minutes. How about that? Open invitation, sir. There you go.
I concur with that.
I concur.
But we'll see. So yeah, that was pretty. I saw that and I'm like, oh boy, this was before you sent that to me. So I'm like, oh, well, let's see what Sergio's got to say about that one.
I got you. I got you. Yeah. Yeah, this is that. And this colorful, you know, we have Pride Week and shit here, right? So you know, this is Ali Kashani. Remember Ali that we interviewed? This head of Serve Robotics. These are all Serve little things. Okay. So about 3 years ago, we had a scooter craze. These scooters were being dumped in the ocean, Santa Monica Pier, and people were leaving these scooters all over the place because you just dump it in front of somebody's house, and the guy forgets, he's backing out of his car, he runs over, he's got flat tires, and then they all disappeared. You know, all the cities said, enough of this shit. We don't want any more of these nuisances and whatever. Plus, they're dangerous, bro. These people don't pay any attention to traffic laws whatsoever. They just go right through stop signs and shit. And I'm going like, okay. So now the same thing is happening with those little bug-eye robots. Look at the screenshot on the right, people. Look how they're all lined up there. You know what I mean? Blocking shit.
It's iRobot, man. It's iRobot.
Yeah, man. This is bullshit, man. Okay, Ali, you know, come on. Come on now. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, City of Hollywood. I swear they're all over the place. Hollywood Boulevard, you can't even walk. First of all, Hollywood Boulevard, whoever's in LA knows, is a very touristy area, Chris. There's like thousands of people on the boulevard, and the sidewalks are pretty wide. But these freaking things are going zipping in and out, you know, whatever. And I'm going like, come on, man. So now city says enough. Enough is enough. Go away. Just like they did with Cruz in San Francisco. They go away. We had enough of this shit. So I'm going like, all right, there we go. Yeah.
Well, what's going to happen with this? I clearly this is a person who wrote to the mayor, but are they going to do anything?
They want to get rid of it. They don't want it. They said it's hindering handicapped people with their wheelchairs and all that stuff. So they said we don't want it. Plus, they said they get stuck. They follow. You know, they literally are crossing the street. They get stuck in the middle of the road, and I'm going like, that's not good. I mean, they're going to get run over, and they're going to create some accidents. There's no reason for that, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, you know. How about we back off this full automation and replacement of the human for a little bit, okay? Until these things really, really are working well. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Do the tip over. Yeah,
Figure it
do
out.
tip over, whatever.
Because
Yeah, they'll steal.
this isn't that would annoy me. If I was walking down the street and that thing's coming at me, who's playing chicken? Because if that thing hits me, oh man, I'll
Lawsuit.
have fun with that one. Oh yeah, I'll have fun with
Yeah.
that one.
Screw that shit. And then knock it over.
But I would also want to do what Alex did last week. Oh, I got some free food.
Yeah, to pry it up and steal the burrito.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're gonna get rid of these. And lastly but not least, okay, one of my favorite movies. I'm sure it's yours too, Chris. Taxi Driver, right? Classic, right? With
Yeah,
Robert De Niro.
it's all right. It's all right.
You haven't seen it?
I've seen it a long time ago, but it was all
Yeah,
right.
I buy a classic movie, and the poor guy now is getting sued by his assistant. He's 80 years old. He's in court, tied up in court, and now he's doing Uber Eats commercials. And I'm going like, I watched the commercial. Actually, we can't show it, but you guys can watch it on YouTube. That's a horrible goddamn commercial. I was like, that's not even funny. But anyway, Uber thought it was funny. It probably paid the guy, I don't know, $10 million to do that commercial. So Robert, you can come on our show and we can talk about Taxi Driver, the good old days, all that stuff. But yeah, poor Robert De Niro is doing Uber Eats commercials now. So that's it. I thought.
Yeah, well, if you got to make money, you're going to do it somehow. All right, then let's end with these fake names.
So we got
two crazy names from you,
bro.
From both Uber and one from Lyft.
One each. Lucifer, really?
Oh boy,
really Uber, really? Sachin, after freaking year, really, Lucifer, and the other one, my favorite, Killer.
Yeah.
Bro.
Well, I don't think they're going to get a ride. And if they do, oof.
Killer.
The ant will pick that one up.
I don't know who will pick them up. Why would anybody pick the guy named Killer?
Or the person that's forced to pick him up.
Huh?
I said, or the person that's forced to pick him up.
I would not do that. No. There's not a chance. Even the daylight hours, I wouldn't pick that.
Those are things that need to be completely fixed.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's what I thought. Hopefully they'll fix it. And
all right.
Yeah.
Well,
we zoom. You probably picked them up. That's okay. When in your Tesla,
don't make a deal with Lucifer. Just don't make a deal with them.
Lucifer.
Let's make a deal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got Professor on in the background, so let's bring him on.
Oh, is this
going on?
Oh, hey, Professor Schillmeiler is showing his face today. Okay,
hey,
Professor,
it's my buddy Sergio.
Professor, you're frozen. What's happening?
You guys are frozen.
Are you driving?
I have you guys as frozen.
Yeah, you're kind of. Okay, well, okay. Talk for.
Well, if we can hear you, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can we hear you?
Man.
No. Well, you need to pull over, bro.
Yeah, no Tesla self-driving here.
I done gone and screwed it all up.
Yeah, stop moving. Stop moving.
You guys have a good show. If anybody can hear me, hit that like button because these guys work really hard, and it's been like only 60 likes out of 200 people on the show. So give them a like, and I'm about to pick up a long ride to the airport in 6 minutes, and I'm not connected. So if anybody can hear this, have a great day. Bye.
All right, we can hear you, but hey, next time, next week, we're gonna put the link out. Sit in your good reception area, and then we can chat. Okay. No.
All right. Yep. You got frozen. So
live TV
coming on. What's up?
This is the problem of live TV.
I know, right? Yeah. Especially with people in their car who are working. So
two more people.
Yeah, so I just put the chat out again. Yeah, connect to the Starlink. Just put the link out again if you want to come on and share your thoughts or anything. We did have somebody, but they dropped off. It looked like it went the screen went black, so I don't know what happened there. But yeah, if you want to come on, share your thoughts, opinions, talk about how slow it's been for you, whatever it might be. Come on.
Nobody? Come on now. We're begging now? What's happening?
They're scared, man. They're scared.
Two people, bro. You're all gun shy now? Huh? You can all type, but you're all gun shy now? Okay, I get it.
All right. Well, the other side of the coin too is while we're waiting,
money,
we are going to give away
actually, give
some money. So
Yeah.
enter hashtag SMTMC into the chat,
There
and
you
you
go.
could be $25 richer. So hashtag
Yeah.
SMTMC. And also, if you want to come on and chat about
Yeah.
anything, then make sure you click the link and
About
hop
today's
on.
subjects. We can talk about today's subjects. We can talk about what you guys want us to talk about next week. We can talk about, I don't know, whatever you guys want. As long as it's not obscene and dirty, we can talk about whatever you guys want. So there, somebody device not connected already. Mohammed, up there we got Mohammed and we got Captain Ziggy. Okay, Captain
Well,
Ziggy is on.
it looks like Captain Ziggity is,
Captain Ziggy is on.
there, and device is not connected for Mohammed. So Mohammed, if you're on there, and you're hearing,
Wait a minute,
just
I know
try to
who
make sure
Captain
you can-
Ziggy is. I know who Captain Ziggy is. I responded to his comment. Captain Ziggy, how are you?
How's it going?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
You got me?
We hear you. We see you.
I
Yep,
got you.
you're on.
Like, I
You're on the
stumbled
show.
into this. I stumbled in here. You know, I've caught your show years ago, but anyways, this thing's speeding back at me. But anyways, this weekend, I've been driving for about 6.5 years, 10,000 rides. But anyways, this weekend, I pull into the airport, pick up two gentlemen. Ended up, they were refereeing the top ranked fight up in Tahoe. So anyways, I dropped them off. There was a $4.50 ride come up, and I'm a cherry picker of cherry pickers. So the first time I ignored the 450.
Is he driving? Captain Ziggy, are you driving?
No, I'm sitting there. No, this is my day of rest. But
Okay.
anyways, so I picked up that $4.50 ride. This thing, it's a delay in the action here, and it's confusing. But anyways, so I ended up that 4.50 ride, came back again, and my intuition said pick it up. So I picked up the ride, and I go up there, and it was the heavyweight on the undercard and his entourage that won the little tour of Lake Tahoe.
Oh. Okay, don't look at anything else. Just look at the camera and talk. Don't worry. We got
But
you.
anyways, long story short, then the next morning I get a call to the hotel again, and it was the manager of that fighter who I took him back to the airport. So that $4.50 ride turned into over $300 when it was all said and done. Sometimes you got to listen to your gut intuition.
Yes, sir. Captain Ziggy,
Yeah.
what city are you in? What city do you, I mean, you said Lake Tahoe, so you're in up in where's up Nevada? Where are you at?
Yeah, up in Lake Tahoe, and
Okay.
again, it's fun. Let me just put it that way. I make sure the intoxicated folks get home on time, and we have some fun.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for telling the story. Hope you're staying safe out there. I think I did respond to one of your comments. I remember Captain Ziggy. So why do you have a captain's hat? Are you like ex-captain or something, or what's happening?
Well, you know, we're all captains of our own soul. Everybody's a
Yeah.
captain of your own soul. And well, yeah, with the Osmond family, I got to meet them through my Uber career. And there's a guy out there, David Osmond. I was on stage with Marie a couple times last year. But anyways, David Osmond, look on YouTube. It says, "I Can Do This." It's just a fantastic song. Gets you motivated.
Good for you. Good for you. I mean, you know what you said, I'll take that to heart. We're the captain of our souls, Chris. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know, yeah. And you're the cherry picker of cherry pickers. Welcome to the Cherry Pickers United.
Hey, well, I appreciate you guys. You guys put out some good information. I'm glad I stumbled in here today. You guys stay safe out there, and if you're ever in Lake Tahoe, we'll have to get together for a cup of coffee.
You betcha. I'll
Sounds
look
good.
you up. I'll look you up. All
All right,
right. You
thanks,
have a good
Captain.
one now. Be safe out there.
All right, so we're gonna try Mohammed, if you're still there, device is not connected. You got to somehow connect before we can try adding you.
Okay,
But we
Ronnie's
have
up. Ronnie's up to
yep, we have
bat.
Ronnie.
No?
So Ronnie,
Yeah,
how's it going?
Ronnie's up to bat.
Device is not connected. You got to
Hey, Ronnie, how are you?
try adding you. But we have oh yeah, there's a delay. I can hear that.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
we can hear you. You don't turn your volume down. Don't watch yourself, or if you're watching yourself, turn your volume down.
Okay, gotcha.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, there's a delay, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. So he's probably watching on the computer or so right now and coming to us on your phone.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit better. It looks like it's lagging a little bit.
All right, so we can hear you, we can see you. What's on your mind? What city you're from? How many years you've been driving? Give us the scoop.
I think it's a little bit better. It looks like it's lagging a little bit.
All right, so we can hear you, we can see you. What's on your mind? What city you're from? How many years you've been driving? Give us the scoop.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago. I've been driving with Lyft since 2013. So just over 10 years. I consider myself one of the original drivers here. And then with Uber for 5 years.
How are things in Chicago? You're making any money?
So just over 10 years. I consider myself one of the original drivers here. And then with Uber for 5 years. Yeah, the money is still okay right now. I do think it is a little bit more saturated, definitely than just even a few months ago. But one of my big questions is I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens in Chicago when it comes to the legalities and like what happened in New York and what happened in LA. And I want to keep up with that because we're not getting paid very much, 60 cents per mile, 20 cents per minute.
Yeah, well, keep watching us. We keep all you guys posted with what's going on. In fact, we had the older person, Chris, from Chicago, and Lori Simmons. So we'll keep you guys posted. But thank you for the support. Next time, we'll hope we catch you with a better connection. But we have a huge community in Chicago, and you guys are the best. I mean, Chicago is one of the better markets, believe it or not. So next time, we'll hope we catch you with a better connection. But we have a huge community in Chicago. And you guys are the best. I mean, Chicago is one of the better markets.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I like your guys' show a lot. Just wanted to say that. Love watching you guys. Lots of helpful information too as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good one.
All right, that's it.
So
let's give him the money.
Huh? Well, we got Mohammed. Let's see if we can bring Mohammed on. What's he got?
Mohammed,
how you doing?
Good. How are you? Let me see. I'm pressing it on the.
Oh, device not connected. Oh, epic fail. Hold on.
Epic fail, bro. This is not
Mohammed,
working
you there?
out, bro.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
we hear you.
Okay.
You cut
There's
out a little bit. That's why.
Okay. Sergio, I just sent you an email showing one of the trips that usually happens after a Michigan football game in Ann Arbor. This was in East Lansing, home of Michigan State to Ann Arbor. It's a 90-mile ride, and it was like at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when the game ended. So the trip was for, I think it was $422. Just a silly check by me. The other thing is, I have a rental from Avis to drive for Uber, and at one location, all they have is Chevy Bolts EV, and the trunk is so small, is I can't fit 2 people with luggage going to the airport.
Yeah.
They have other Avis locations. They have regular gasoline cars, but that location has only EVs. And good luck trying to get a rental from the other location because they don't have any cars.
Do they have companies that rent you, or they allow you to be on both platforms, like Uber and
No,
Lyft?
only on Lyft, only on Uber. I tried to just out of curiosity to upload it to Lyft, but the paperwork I have showing that insurance has expired, but Avis has uploaded the regular insurance to the Uber platform. So it's good. So I have to go to the office, but I don't know if if Lyft will accept the Avis thing. And I mean, if for Uber to do that, just the car is so small that, and as I said, I can't put two people with going to the airport with luggage.
Yeah, but
And
that car, that car is really good for short, quick trips
oh yeah,
around the
that's
city.
what it's good for.
That's perfect car
Yes,
for that.
yeah, it is, and that's what I do. Is uh about a month ago, my acceptance rate was like about 23. Today I started at 54%.
Oh,
But no, I mean, because it's all short rides.
yeah.
Downtown Detroit, sporting events, concerts. I do very well. But but today I drove somebody from downtown Detroit about 20 miles north, and I got stuck there. What is it? Stevie Nicks is playing tonight in downtown Detroit. I couldn't get a ride going that way, so I just silly rides, cheap rides. Finally, I drove home. But the thing is,
Mhm.
my acceptance rate went today from, I was at 54% around 5 o'clock. And now it's at 42.
Okay.
So it
Don't
went
worry
down.
about don't worry
No,
about
no,
your
no, I'm not.
acceptance
I
rate.
know. And you know what? I cherry pick.
Yeah, please,
It's
please.
and
What?
I
And
mean,
then,
I what is it? I have an EV, so I can't waste. I can't waste miles going to pick up the person. I can't waste miles going. Driving 7 to 8 miles. For a low price trip.
yeah,
So
definitely. Yeah, you got
yeah,
to know what you're doing. But look, if you can get out of the rental, get out of the rental. I don't know
I
what you're
am.
paying
I
per
am.
week. Yeah,
I am.
but
So I
good.
do enough.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I mean, I do enough, to cover that. But I mean, it seems some of the requests are so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And but the other thing is, I have a Bolt, so it's a EV. It's a EV Go. It takes like an hour and a half to fill to charge the car up.
Yeah.
And that's an hour and a half away from driving people.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, the best thing with an EV is if you have like a charger at home, leave it overnight
yeah,
if you're going to charge,
yeah,
and then your next day you're okay, because otherwise there aren't too many superchargers, and Bolts I don't think take fast charge anyway. But good to talk to you, man. Be safe out there.
you do the same.
Sorry,
Thank you.
sorry
Stay
about your
safe.
trouble.
No, thank you for letting me on, and God bless, and stay safe, and Uber on.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you,
good luck.
and shoplift.
Good one. I like that one.
Okay,
Uber on and
thank
shoplift.
you.
I like it. I
Okay,
like that
thank
one.
you.
You will
Have
learn a
a good
lot.
All
night.
right.
You too.
Have a
Take
good
care
one.
now. Be safe. Uber on shoplift. I
Interesting.
like that. There you go, baby.
All right. Well, let's see who could
Money
win.
time.
So
Money time.
hashtag
Are we still
SMTMC.
Are we still giving my money? Because I haven't seen any love from Lyft or Uber. Uber definitely is treating me like yesterday's stepchild, but Lyft used to
Oh,
show
I
me some
think.
money. Lyft stopped showing me money altogether. None. Zero. Goose.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's been bad.
And now I'm gonna follow Mr. Gambit and cherry pick the crap out of it. He's killing it. I love it. So there you go. All right.
Nice. Well, let's see who's going to be the winner. $25, a little more. Maybe we'll make it Harry's money this time. Daniel, congratulations, Daniel. You won. Make sure you hit up Sergio at therideshareguide.com, and you will be able to get your money. Make sure you do it within 24 hours.
Yes, please. Daniel and the mayor, you guys have 24 hours from when we leave the show to email me, Sergio at therideshareguide.com. Okay. Please email me your earnings. Last week's earnings. Let's see if on average, okay, we're all making $33 an active hour. It could be from big cities, small cities, whatever. Okay, medium market, large market, whatever. Let's see if Dara is right. Maybe, I want as many of them as possible, people. Okay, don't worry. I'm going to put them on a spreadsheet. You just have to say what city you're in and just send me your last week's screenshot with showing active hours. If it's not showing active hours, I cannot figure it out. You have to tell me active hours, okay? And I want to see if this guy's right. Even if I get 100 responses, I'll just put it on a spreadsheet to see if 33 is possible. I'm not sure. Maybe it is possible. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to find out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Anything more, Sergio?
No, sir. Thank you for the chat, people. Please, thumbs up. Like, who was it? Captain? No, it wasn't Captain. Kilamiler.
No,
Professor Kilamiler said, thumbs up. It's free, people. Just smash the
Yeah,
thumbs up
just
before
gotta
you
click it.
exit. We have like 200
Just click it.
people. Come on, man.
Just tap it. Just a little
Tap
tappy.
it. Don't be
Little tappy
violent.
tap.
Just
Little
tap it.
tappy tap.
Tap the thing. It's supposed to help the
Oh,
algorithm.
made
I don't know if it
85
does or
last
not.
week on 9 active hours.
Yeah. Huh?
William said made 885 last week on 9 active hours.
Well, you're keeping the average up, William. That's like $90 an hour.
Yeah,
So,
right.
he drives black though. So
That's almost 100, yeah, actually.
Yeah. Look, there is still money to be made. It's not all bad. I know CDU members are going to complain because there are 6.5 million of drivers now. It's not all bad. If you know what you're doing, you
Did they
can make it.
separate
And
it
next week,
between rideshare and food delivery, or are they all just jumbling everybody together?
no, it's all jumbled together.
Hmm.
It's
I'd
all
be
jumbled
interested to
together.
know what the difference would be, how much it grew rideshare drivers versus food delivery drivers.
Yeah, that would be a good.
Like,
Well,
was
because,
there
in
only
food delivery,
500,000 that decided to do rideshare and 1.5 or 1 million that decided to do food delivery? Is it split more? I mean, I'm wondering
well,
what it looks
the
like.
thing, okay, no, business wise, actually, rideshare went above food delivery by $1 billion this quarter. It was 18.5 billion for rideshare and 17.5 billion for delivery because they use delivery for everything these days. So during the pandemic, obviously, food delivery kept them alive. Now rideshare is going above food delivery. They're expecting a great fourth quarter, good travel season, holidays coming up, obviously, Thanksgiving, Christmas. They said great quarter. We have plenty of supply. Surge is going to be not that high. But no, I mean, the company is doing well, bro. Stock is $50. I mean, stock actually is, look, stock came public in 2019 at 45. Today is at 50. So after 3 years, if you bought it at the IPO at 45, the dead money for
Finally
3
made a
years,
little
now
money.
you're ahead. Yeah, 10%
But
up
if
in
you
3
also
years.
bought it at the low at 18, oh, then you're doing pretty
Yeah,
well.
but, yeah, I know. But I mean, in
So,
hindsight, but look, there's huge institutional support. There potentially could be joining the S&P 500, and then the stock will pop another 10% because all these funds have to buy it. They're a $100 billion company, and they deserve to be in there. But
Yep.
don't worry, next week we're going to start our How to Cherry Pick 101, or maybe not 101, 401. Yeah, we're going to talk about the anatomy of a cherry picker. You know what I mean? All these people who grab these $4 or $5 trips, trying to do a quest. No. Forget it. 2.5 billion trips. There are cherries in there. You need to find it. That's it. So, yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said, you guys have a great rest of your night. Everybody enjoy, make that money, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thumbs up.
Yep. Hit that like button.